Coming up on Cereal at Midnight, it's time for fresh flavors. Over 24 new releases, 6 4Ks. Cereal at Midnight is on. Guys, welcome to Cereal at Midnight. It is fresh flavors time. You know, I try to do these about once a month. I'm thinking about changing that. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm thinking about shifting things up. If you've seen some of my recent videos, I'm thinking about mixing it up a little bit. So I'm excited about the possibility of where this could go. Like, what if these were weekly and what if they were live? Just an idea. So we got a lot of ground to cover. This is the essentially the September new releases that I have on hand. I think there's a couple of August ones in here that maybe came a little bit later. So let's kick it off, right? Let's kick those sweet, funky, tasty jams with Bloodsport on 4K. This comes from Cape Light, a company called Cape Light. Now, they are a German company. My understanding, they sent me this. They emailed me, would you like to cover this? I was like, heck yes. Because every time I cover, over the years, I've covered a lot of Van Damme. I've covered a lot of Van Dammage. And every time I talk about a Van Damme movie, people go, when is Bloodsport going to get a 4K? Boom, now we got it. And it is not just a 4K. It is like the best 4K release because it has the movie in HD and 4K Ultra HD, but it also has hours of brand new special features. So it is excellent. My understanding is that Cape Light is doing it's an English and German product, and I guess this J card may be different depending on where you buy yours. I believe they're leaning heavily into the UK market for this, for the English version. When you pop the disc in, it goes German, English. So you pick your menu language, and then it's all the documentary stuff, all the interviews, the movie, English, right? German, you have German options, but look, like English everywhere, right? So all the back of this, and this is a media book. There's there's 3 different covers for this. Aww. This is all in English too. So I could not be happier, and it sort of references the old VHS days with this movie and how it's packaged and put together. So both the 4K and the Blu-ray disc are region free. And but I'm gonna say this. Oh, by the way, this is really cool too. So the J card, this whoop, you slip this out. This is the J card because it's a J. This is the inside. This is so cool. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody use the inside of one of these for art. Here's what's on it. Tons and tons. I mean, I'll go through some of this because it needs to be seen. An uppercut into the... It's basically interviews. They got Sheldon Lettich here, who would go on to direct several Van Damme vehicles. They talk about the screenwriting. They talk about the soundtrack. They talk about the cinematography because it's got great cinematography. Even though... And this is the thing that we have to talk about. I'm going to hold this up and let you... In fact, I've even got a screenshot. Future Heath editing this, put in your shot of the extra list on the menu. I took it, and it doesn't show up super great because it's red, a red background. That's always kind of problematic. But one of the things I want to mention about Bloodsport is that it's not a beautifully shot movie. It goes for that whole dreamlike, gauzy, hazy kind of cinematography, but it's never looked this good on home media. That's the important thing. It's never looked this good. So that's Bloodsport from Cape Light. It's amazing. I am really, really happy with it, and I'm grateful that they reached out to me. From Warner Brothers Home Entertainment, they've released the complete series of Succession. Now you hear that? We got a floater here. This is still sealed. So for me, I've heard a lot of great things. I posted about this on Twitter or X when this hit my mailbox. I will probably never watch this series because it is the bad behavior of people, a family that runs a mega media corporation or a media mega corporation that's the headlines every single day in real life. That's not escapist entertainment for me. And I guess maybe there's an element of schadenfreude to it because you're watching bad things happen to bad people. For me, it's a little too close to home for my entertainment. I like to escape. I want kumite. So this is probably going to go to one of you guys, but there's the thing. We got a floater, right? They've covered over, or ported over, by the way, DVD. No Blu-ray release for this. It's Warner Brothers. People go, why? I don't think TV on DVD, or I don't think TV on disc is what it used to be. I mean, I have no numbers to quote you guys. I've just heard like, oh, TV on disc is really risky. People will say they'll wait for a complete series box set, which is what this is. But I guess Warner Brothers knows a DVD is going to sell more than a Blu-ray. I don't know. But they've carried over every single special feature that's been created for this show, but it's in SD. And I think that's a bigger sin because this show is apparently shot on film. So that's you're losing a lot by not watching this on streaming. Warner Brothers is also repackaging the first 6 seasons of Rick and Morty into this Blu-ray complete series. Well, it's not a complete series. It's everything that's out right now. They always do this. They give you, like when every new season drops, they release that new season. Then they bundle it all together and they throw in some exclusives. This is the art. I gotta be honest with you guys. I watched this season of Rick and Morty. I don't remember this. I don't know what this is from. It includes this exclusive poster. And it's pretty minimalist. Oh, that's backwards. Hold on. That's your poster right there. I don't think there's anything else that might tantalize or tempt a double dip. Here's everything that's included. So if you don't have any Rick and Morty and you want to own it to your collection and you like this poster, this is the package for you. They also have just released Smiling Friends Season 1. Now listen, I don't have cable, so I was not familiar with this show. I wasn't sure what to expect. I love it. I love this show. It's so weird. It reminds me of like what animation used to could do, like back in the Ren and Stimpy days when people think it was just weird, but also cool in the same way. I don't know. I think it's really cool. I watched the entire thing in 2 sittings. So, because they're like 11-minute episodes. It's, what is it, 10, 11-minute episodes. So there's not a ton of stuff there. But I liked it. And every episode has a commentary, and it's Blu-ray. So there you go. We're Rick and Morty on Blu-ray and Smiling Friends on Blu-ray. This is the same art. But hey, you got it for those O-cardaholics out there. You got a slipcover. Let's get crazy with like boutique stuff and the giant Gila monster from I said monster. This is my southern coming out. The giant Gila monster from this is from Film Masters. This is the very first release. It's not numbered anywhere, but this is the very first release from Film Masters. I interviewed the Film Masters interview where I actually talked to the creator of the company, connects the dots between what was going on with the Film Detective. If you've been here for a while, you know I loved the Film Detective. And then that company got bought and went away, kind of went out of business. Now, Film Masters is picking up where the Film Detective went, where they left off, which means super high quality restorations of cult movies that we want to have in our collection. Excellent special features from some of the best people in the business, essays, documentaries, all that jazz. And this is a double feature affair. So we have the giant Gila monster. We have the giant Gila monster. We also have the Killer Shrews on a whole other Blu-ray. These are pressed Blu-rays. These are factory pressed Blu-rays with the glass coating and all that jazz. The giant Gila monster is jaw-droppingly gorgeous now. I don't know. I don't know how they do it. Now, like, remember, both of these movies are like cult classics. They're Mystery Science Theater 3000 fodder. That's what it comes down to. But the presentation they have here, now the Killer Shrews is kind of presented as sort of like a bonus feature. And it does have some element distress is what I'll say. I think they've done the best they could. Most of the movie looks like 10 out of 10. There's a few moments where you can tell they had to cut to some inferior source. I believe one source is even videotape. But you get the complete movie. It's uncut and complete. And I mean, James Best, you know, I grew up as a Dukes of Hazzard fan because I was born in the late 70s, grew up in the 80s. Dukes of Hazzard was like appointment television, 80, 81, 82, 83. I don't know about when Coy and Vance came in, but when it was Bo and Luke Duke, it was appointment television. And James Best, like I knew my whole life as Roscoe, like go, go, go. Then getting older, I mean, even within the last 10 years, I'm like, oh, he's a legitimately wonderful actor who had a huge career in Westerns and in like movies like The Killer Shrews. I'm nothing but praise is what I'm gushing over this release because it's that good. I am in love with this release. Look at everything that you got. You got commentary stuff. You've got featurettes. You got a documentary. There's a commentary on the giant Gila monster by Larry Stroth, James Gonis, Sean Sheridan, and Matt Weinhold from the Monster Party podcast. Archival interview with Don Sullivan, who's the actor, one of the actors in the movie. It's like an hour and a half. What? Just presented as a special feature. Like, it's incredible stuff. And then the Killer Shrews, you got, for both of these, you have aspect ratio selection. So you can do 1:8:5 if you want the black bars. You can do the TV presentation with black bars on the side. Ray Kellogg, An Unsung Master, a Ballyhoo Motion Pictures documentary written by C. Courtney Joyner, my friend, and narrated by Larry Blameyer. Excellent stuff. Talking about it, legitimate. We tend to. I'm going to get on it about Mystery Science Theater 3000. We owe Mystery Science Theater 3000 a debt of gratitude for sort of making these movies cool in the 90s and in the early 2000s, long after their original run. The downside to that is that, hold on, I gotta adjust something here. The downside to that is it made snark and talking over movies really popular, and I don't love that. It created a hipster irony about everything. You watch these movies without the snark, and like, it doesn't always work, but it's fun. I feel like you get to have fun with the movie on your terms, whereas a lot of people watch this stuff and have fun at the movie's expense. They're just mocking it, and I don't love that. In fact, I hate it. Just be honest, I hate it. I think it's shallow, and I think that it is immature, and like, yeah, these movies aren't always, you know, like A++ material, but the people that worked on them worked hard on them. There's good performances. There's really innovative special effects because they're making them on a shoestring budget. And as a time capsule, you get to see cars and landmarks and food and like all sorts of things that we don't have around anymore. That you're in a time capsule. It's a time machine. Movies are a time machine. So the documentary sort of legitimizes what has been dismissed for at least the last 20 years or so. And then there's a commentary by Jason A. Nye, who is one of the leading scholars of film noir and of these kinds of movies. So if you're interested in it, you gotta get it. I mean, and it's like $20. It's like $20. What? It's crazy. Let's get 4K crazy with Ghoulies. Sometimes I'm like, what are you talking about, man? I just roll from like, it gets crazy. Let's go 4K crazy. It's just like non sequiturs as I try to plow through this stuff. Ghoulies on 4K. I cannot believe this is going to be one of many times I say that during this video. I cannot believe Ghoulies is on 4K. Thanks to MVD, this is the Rewind collection, their 4K Laser Vision collection. This is number 2 of the Laser Vision collection. Number 1 was Swamp Thing. It looks so good. We know these movies, like I know these movies from the video store era, you know, where they are, cropped, you know, they're, VHS, right? I know them from the VHS era. Seeing this quality now, I'm like, this is theatrical. This is actually cinematic. Like, it's film grain up the wazoo, and the HDR gives such like a depth of a color palette. It is unbelievable, and it's loaded with special features. I'm not going to read all this to you guys because we need to get through this. If I take this long for every release, we're going to be here for like 3 hours, and I will actually be in a sweaty puddle on the floor because it is still summer here in the South, in Dixie, where I have my Southern accent, and it is sweltering in this room with the lights and everything. They've carried over tons of special features from previous releases. They do have the Blu-ray here as well. If you don't like the retro style art, which pays homage to the VCD, the CED, the video disc era. You got clean art underneath, and you have a poster, mini poster. If you're a super huge fan of Ghoulies, and you're like, well, I like Ghoulies, but what about Ghoulies 2? Whoa! Ghoulies 2 is also just been added to the MVD Rewind collection. And again, we have the loving homage to the video era artwork. Clean artwork underneath. Lots of special features here. I'm not going to read that to you. Use your pause button accordingly. And mini poster. And it's got artwork on the interior art wrap. I wouldn't say this is reversible because I think you're supposed to leave it like this, but it is like it's a little picture in there. Fun for your eyes when you take the disc out. So good stuff. All right, let's switch over to Arrow, Carlito's Way on 4K. Now this is not a 4K debut for Carlito's Way. What is going on with this microphone? These pretzels are making me thirsty. This is not a 4K debut for Carlito's Way. It's already been issued from Universal on 4K. I have that release. Did they say, I don't know if they say that this is a new transfer. The reason you want this release, if you're a fan of Carlito's Way, and that's me, I'm a fan of Carlito's Way, is that it has tons and tons and tons and tons of special features. And again, I can't read all this to you guys in any sort of interesting way. So I'm just going to hold this up and let you freeze frame it, and I will hit some of the highlights here. One of the things that impressed me is that there's a brand new audio commentary by Matt Zoller Seitz, brand new audio commentary by D. Douglas Kesey, a brand new interview, just like tons and tons of brand new features. Then archival documentary. I mean, it's many hours of special features. And double-sided poster with a new artwork, and I always tend to prefer classic artwork because it's what I know, right? And this was always iconic. Let's talk a little bit about the movie itself, because oh, by the way, booklet too. Sweet, dense booklet, rich with text. I have come to the realization in the last few years that I don't like Scarface. It's Brian De Palma. To me, like, De Palma's great. Scarface is a cartoon, and that's what I've had to come to realize. Is like, and I haven't decided if it's intentionally a cartoon. It's certainly a product of its time, or if it's a commentary on that. If it's satirizing, I mean, it's just so big. Say hello to my little, like, it's so big. Pacino was playing a cartoon character in that movie. And I think maybe he learned all the wrong lessons, because for the, hooah! Like, for the rest of his career with the yelling and the over the top, Carlito's Way is different. Carlito's Way is kind of what you get with Scarface if it had restraints and maturity and was about, like, the toll of what that lifestyle puts upon you. It's a wonderful film. It's got a lot of nuance, got a lot of character stuff, got a lot of heartbreak in there. I don't get any of that from Scarface. Scarface is a comic book. It's a cartoon. And then that doesn't mean I don't, I'm gunning pretty hard for Scarface. I don't mean to. I have it. I have the 4K of Scarface. Like, I know and will sometimes make the pop culture references. But then you get Carlito's Way, and it's just such a more mature film from a more mature director. And maybe that's it. It's all those years later, everybody's learned a little bit. So, I don't know. That's my thoughts on Carlito's Way. I'm glad it's a gorgeous release, is what it is. So whether you upgrade or not depends on how much you want those new special features if you've already got the previous 4K, but it's a ton of special features. The Prodigal Son is a martial arts movie from Arrow. Haven't even touched it. I think this has, let's reverse this artwork. Yeah, here we go. This, as you know, and as we talk about often, which is why I'm thinking about doing these weekly live, this stuff comes in so fast and in such volume. There's no way to, there's not enough hours in the day. And if there was hours in the day, I then would not have the hours to make videos about it or to talk about it. Like this, it's that fire hose we talk about, but it's a beautiful fire hose. If you gotta go, go in style. Lots and lots of stuff here. And 2 cuts here. Let's see, what is the difference? Is this the Hong Kong cuts or the, let's see, 2K restorations from the original elements from Fortune Star. Show me the different cuts. Anyway, all right. Also from Arrow, Borsalino, Jean-Paul Belmondo. 2 years before The Godfather and 3 years before The Sting, there was Borsalino. Wildly entertaining period set gangster movie that brought together Jean-Paul Belmondo and Alain Delon. Those are 2 icons. I haven't seen as much of their work as I would like to. It's just, it's like a subconscious French accent. I have not seen as much of their work as I would like to. I hope to see more. It's just a matter of time. It comes in faster than I can get to, but I hope one day, maybe, I see it all. I'm sorry. I've offended somebody somewhere. I'm sorry. Just trying to have fun. This has reversible artwork, which I should have done before this video. And lots. Here, let's see this. Freeze that bad boy. Lots and lots of special features. And we got, let me make sure these are all camera appropriate or YouTube appropriate. Whew, I am sweaty, you guys. All right. And a poster, double-sided poster with the artwork that I just showed you, and a booklet. Show you the table of contents. Bikini Bottom. 3 hours later. Get in there, art cards. Who's seen Borsalino? What do you think about it? Let's talk about it in the comments below. I do these things to keep it moving. I try to keep it fun so that it's not dry, and so I'm not just like, the last house on the left, when an athletic teen, Mary Collinswood, opts to hang out with her friend. Like, that's death, right? That's death on camera. So I'm trying to keep it fun, keep it moving. Maybe go too far sometimes, but you know where my intentions are. Oh, geez, we got a floater here. We got a floater. Hold on, let me flip this artwork around. This was an August release. I believe that has just arrived in the last, well, since after August, but before this video. We got a booklet. Hold on. And hold that up so you can see all of the special features. I mean, Arrow nails it. You know, there are errors from time to time. Some things happen, but you got to know when it comes to these releases, their heart's in the right place because they fill them up with stuff. I mean, they're commissioning all kinds of stuff. They're putting out this movie on 4K, you know, that's really cool. This is also really cool. Now we're switching over to Blue Underground, The Girl from Rio, on 4K. I'll say it again. I can't believe we have The Girl from Rio on 4K. What the heck? This is crazy. When I talked to Bill, it was over a year ago now, I guess, Bill Lustig from Blue Underground, you know, he told me sort of what he wanted to achieve with his 4K releases. I can't believe I got him on the shelf right here. Let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like over a dozen of these things, and he just keeps on going. And I know it's expensive. And that's something to remember when we look at the... I'm sweating so bad. Something to remember when we look at the retail prices of these things is that he's financing film restoration. Film restoration can cost $100,000 or more. And then authoring and packaging and all that jazz. I'm just amazed. I'm amazed The Girl from Rio is on 4K. It's a Jess Franco film. I like it. I don't love it. This is a movie that's in my wheelhouse that I've talked about several times over the years. It's sort of a sequel to an earlier movie. It's a 1969, shot in 68, released in 69. In some places, I think in America, it didn't hit until 72, I want to say. But it's a sequel to a movie called The Million Eyes of Sumeru. And Sumeru is a Sax Rohmer character. Sax Rohmer is the creator of Fu Manchu. So there's a lot of subtext there, like fear of Asians, fear of women in this, because the whole idea is like women are going to take over the world. The feminists are going to get together and destroy the world. You put that in Jess Franco's hands, and he loves it. He's like, please let the women take over the world. The thing is, it's Jess Franco. He's really tame here. You can tell he probably had a lot of limitations. And he didn't write it. The screenplay was written by, under a pseudonym, but by Harry Alan Towers, who was a British exploitation director during this time. Did a lot of horror stuff and things like this. And his company, he had one of the coolest production companies, or releasing companies, Towers of London. It's great. Harry Towers, Towers of London. It doesn't come together ultimately in a very satisfying way, but it's fun and it's beautiful to look at. It's Shirley Eaton, who was a Bond girl in Goldfinger. She was Jill Masterson in Goldfinger, and she never acted again after this movie. I don't know if you can just feel a distance on camera, and it doesn't have a whole lot of a plot. She's not even Sumeru, because you can tell they say Sumeru on the set when they're filming the movie, and then they dub it for something else. It's like Sumatra or something like that, and then in the credits it's Sumitra. So you got 3 different names in this movie for the same character. But again, it just doesn't necessarily work. But it is super swinging 60s. It's psychedelic. It's beautifully shot, and it's got great music. The Girl from Rio song is sort of a bossa nova song. You think about like Astrid Gilberto. That goes through it. It's got this really cool vibe to it, but it feels like a 2.5 hour movie, and it's an hour and a half. And so that's a problem. There are a lot of new things here. There's a new commentary by Nathaniel Thompson and Troy Howarth. There is a new interview with Stephen Thrower, who wrote 2 books. Well, he's written more than that, I guess. He's like the Jess Franco historian. He talks for like 45 minutes about this movie. And I don't even think I don't think he's reading from notes. I think he's just talking. He really knows his stuff. He doesn't think it comes together either. So I feel like I'm in good company there. Again, but I like it. I'm so happy that this gets watched. It's like Waterworld. This is I love the idea of Waterworld. I love Kevin Costner. I love Kevin Reynolds, because Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, one of my favorite movies of all time. When I watch Waterworld, I'm like, oh, I wish this was better. And that's how I feel about this movie. Like, I like it, I revisit it, but I just wish it was better. Anyway, it's fun, and it's got so Rockin' in Rio, Rollin' in Rio is carried over from Here, I'm just reading to you guys again, but clearly I have a lot to say about the girl from Rio. We do not have alternate artwork here. We do have that cool slipcover, but it's not alternate artwork, and we have the 4K and the Blu-ray. It looks good. It's not like I say, it's shot beautifully. It is a 4K. This is the best it's ever looked. It's not a reference piece. It's a nice upgrade. It's not a reference piece. From Synapse. I'm not going to say Synapse with my southern accent. Synapse. Tenebrae. This is this is like the standard edition. I bought the deluxe edition, whatever. It's like a 3-disc thing with the multiple, it's got soundtrack disc. This is the 2-disc version, the 4K and the Blu-ray, and they've dropped some of the other stuff. So if you missed out on Tenebrae and you want to add it to your collection, this is a in-print and more affordable version of this movie. And it does have, no, I was gonna say it has a booklet. It does not. It does not have a booklet. I felt the weight of it. It's the catalog. It's the Synapse catalog, which is definitely not okay to show on YouTube. This is a big deal for me. We got 2 releases from Flickr Alley. We got Foolish Wives, which is Eric von Stroheim, silent movie, one of the most expensive. How do they describe this here? It was, I think at its time, one of the most expensive movies that was ever made. I will be doing a review for this. There's so much material here that it's just going to take some time, and I want to do the work properly. I want to make sure that I'm really giving it the justice that it deserves. We got deluxe Blu-ray edition and a DVD version as well. But we have a booklet. The scholarship that Flickr Alley puts into their stuff is really, really incredible. So we'll talk more about this at CerealAtMidnite.com or in some place soon. Highly recommended. But this, Laurel and Hardy Year 1. So this is the latest Laurel and Hardy restoration project, and it is a stunner. Now, we've gotten a lot of these lately. We did just a couple of months ago, maybe it was even last month, we talked about Laurel and Hardy, the definitive restorations. We've got Laurel or Hardy, which is a collection of the silent films of Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy, separate, not together, not as a team. And now Laurel and Hardy Year One. So this is the 1927 Silence, but because that's what 1927 is when they first formed their buddy comedy routine. But they had been in films going back to 1921 together, just not as a team. Starts in 1921 and then works up to 1927, and then all the stuff they did together in 1927. I think there's 15 shorts here. There's a commentary on every short from Randy Skretvedt, who is the one of the leading Laurel and Hardy experts. So guess what? Here's what I've done. I interviewed Randy Skretvedt about this and about Laurel and Hardy just in general. It's the next episode. It's Cereal at Midnight podcast episode 33. So I don't think that's out yet as you're seeing this. I think it's the next episode of the Cereal at Midnight podcast. But Randy has so much to say about Laurel and Hardy, about preservation, about how this was achieved. It is stunning. The special features here are copious and essential. We even have a book, and I am a fan, and this is it's incredible. So high recommendation for both of these Flickr Alley releases. From 88 Films, we got Chow Yun-Fat and The Postman Fights Back. Have not watched it yet. I like the I feel like 88 Films is kind of catching up with Vinegar Syndrome with these slipcovers. These are very thick cardboard. It's not quite as thick as Vinegar Syndrome, but it's pretty thick, giving you some real added value for the slipcover fans out there. We got a lot of special features, reversible artwork, of course, and we have the double-sided poster too, with both of the pieces of artwork on it. I love Chow Yun-Fat. I think his work in Hong Kong and in Asia is better than his U.S. work, but that's just me. I've heard really great things about this, but I haven't checked it out yet. This is from Unearthed Films Subura. I'm not sure how exactly I'm supposed to pronounce this because I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard really good things. Mike Malloy, Tough Guy movie expert Mike Malloy, was kind of praising it on social media. So it is an Italian film that is, look, it got quotes from Premiere, from The Guardian, from Empire Magazine, from Total Film. It's from the director of Sicario, Day of the Soldado, and Gomorrah. Look at all these 4 stars. Now, we can't always trust this in an age where reviews are bought, that happens a lot, but I've heard good things from people that I trust. So I'm really excited about checking this out, whenever that may be. We got 2 new arrivals in the Visual Vengeance line from Wild Eye Releasing. We've got, these are, I think, 11 and 12? No, 9 and 10. Volume 9 is Replicator, and Volume 10 is The Abomination. And we've covered these before. They are full bells and whistles. I can't believe they did all that for that movie. Special editions. You see all the special features. You see the deluxe packaging. We've got unique, I think there's 3 pieces of artwork for all of these, because they've got the reversible. Look, this has the X-ray specs that are in the movie. We've got VHS style stickers. We've got a booklet. And then under the disc, there's more artwork again. So really collector friendly stuff here for Schlock. They're Schlock movies, but done with a lot of love. And did you see all the special features? I'll hold that up again, closer, if you want to read that. And then I'll show you The Abomination. So again, with the stickers, booklet. This has a poster. Nope, it's not a poster. It's the comic book adaptation. Hold on, it has the poster too. So there's the comic book adaptation. I can't show you all of this on YouTube because, I get in trouble. And we have, can I show this? There's artwork underneath there as well. So I know a lot of you guys are super into these. Some people go, yeah, but are the movies any good? It's such a subjective question. I mean, no, they're direct-to-video schlock in a lot of cases, and some of them were shot on a lot of them were shot on VHS. They're really low-budget movies, micro-budget movies, cult exploitation movies. your enjoyment of that is going to depend on how much you like that stuff to begin with. But for people that do enjoy it, holy cow. This is a re-release. Actually, these two are re-releases. The US Festival 1980. This is the 1982 documentary, and this is the 1983 sort of live performance collection. So this is a documentary. This is a DVD and a Blu-ray, and it's got it's an overview of the whole festival. They talked to Steve Wozniak. The US Festival was Steve Wozniak personally financing a music festival in 1982 and then again in 1983, just for fun, just because he wanted to do it. And he spent, reportedly, $20 million of his own money both years and didn't make it back either year. So I guess that's why there's no 84. But here, they don't give a lot of live performances for most of it. I mean, there's Pat Benatar played, and Jimmy Buffett played, and the Ramones played. We don't get full songs for most of it, but then I think there's like 6 full songs. The last song on the last day of the festival here, Fleetwood Mac does The Chain. It's amazing. It's so good. And then, so they got commentary here with the director, the interview outtakes with Stuart Copeland from The Police, Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac, Steve Wozniak, and then the director's commentary. For music guys like me, it's really cool. And then this has performances from the Divinyls, In Excess, The English Beat, Stray Cats, Men at Work, The Clash, Judas Priest. Really, really cool. So, hold on. Were these done by the same person? Yes. Same director behind both of these projects. We're almost done, guys. We've got a couple of things here. White Pongo from Cheesy Movies. I believe White Pongo is in the public domain, and there's these Cheesy Movies releases don't have like reference quality video or anything like that, but you get to own them. That's kind of the thing. It's like it's not on YouTube. It's a disc that you can have. So, cult movie from 1950. What is the year on this? 1945. That's earlier than I thought it was. Haven't had a chance to watch this one yet, but I think I've seen White Pongo before. It's hard to know because there's so many guys in ape suit movies from this time. Because there's also there's another white something. I've got it. White. It's the white gorilla. The white ape maybe is what it's called. This is interesting. A Beetle and Benton. I specifically asked to review this because I was like, what is this? So it is a chronicle of, in 1963, right before the Beatles really broke big in America. It was September of 63, and it was February that they broke via the Ed Sullivan Show just a few months later. The Beatles take a holiday. George Harrison comes to visit his sister in southern Illinois. It's like 5 hours away from me. It's like it's the South. Yeah, they're interviewing people here, and they kind of talk like this. I tend to think of people from Illinois talking like this because every time I've been to Chicago, that's kind of how you want to go get some brats or something. But southern Illinois, where Metropolis, like an hour from Metropolis, Illinois, where I shot a video at the Superman Museum, they start talking a little bit more like this. They get a little bit more southern. It's the Midwest, but it's kind of the South too, because it's right there by Tennessee, and you got Arkansas right there. St. Louis ain't too far away, but it's that kind. How y'all doing? Anyway, so George Harrison goes to visit his sister in 1963. He stays there for 2 weeks, and this is the chronicle of that. But it's mostly in the 90s. They were going to knock down the house, his sister's house. It had been turned into a bed and breakfast by that point, I guess. They're going to knock it down, and they're trying to save it, is what I gather. Because I haven't watched, this is over 7 hours of footage. I've watched some of it. It's a little sad to me because you kind of get the impression that for a lot of these people, that was the best thing that ever happened in their town. And maybe it was. I don't know, but it makes me sad that this narrative from the 90s is just like, well, he came and he stayed in that room. That's the room he stayed at. They got like Beatle reenactors and I don't know. There's something about it. It just feels a little bit sad to me. And the director intros the thing. He did a 50th anniversary. He did a 40th anniversary, I believe, a 50th anniversary, and this is the 60th. And this is his final word on it with everything he has in the vaults. And so it's for the Beatle collector who has everything already. Just know what it is. It's mostly VHS footage, is what it is. The Merger. This is I don't even know if I'm supposed to be talking about this as a disc because it says review, not for sale. This might be one of those things that goes to, it's an IndiePix film that might be going straight to Prime Video. I'm not sure, and I haven't watched it. They say the full Monty for the footy field. The full Monty for the footy field, says Film Inquiry. I don't know. But this is out now. If you're into football and you like the full Monty, maybe The Merger is for you. I'll get to it one of these days. And last, from Film Movement, Cadejo Blanco, which is, where is this from? It's a Guatemalan film. And they have given us a bonus short called Tropico. I like Film Movement does that with the you get the feature, you get a short film, and then they also give you, now these are usually DVD only. Sometimes we get a Blu-ray, but they're usually DVD. You get info directly from the director. Directory. Anyway, so statement from director Justin Lerner. Why we selected Cadejo Blanco. That's cool too, because it's like the company being like, here's why we chose this. So if you're into Film Movement, and a lot of you guys are, I hear from you. You're like, I like when you talk about the indie stuff. That's it. Guys, we did it in just a little over half an hour too. So over 24 films. That's what I think about what I've seen. What do you think about it? Let's continue the conversation in the comments below. What will the next Fresh Flavors look like? I'm not sure. Changes are coming, but there'll be fun changes, I promise you. I appreciate you being here. Anything that you can do to support this channel, subscribing so that you see these videos when they go up and you don't see them a year later. If you want to give us the thumbs up, so that's appreciated. Commenting helps as well. And we've got YouTube memberships now. You can unlock for $5. You can support this channel and you get exclusive bonus videos. And you can support us on Patreon, where you unlock the archive of over 150 exclusive videos, and you have access to the private Facebook group as well. So a lot of different options to support the channel. I appreciate you doing for whatever you can. Thank you guys. Take care. Till next time. I will catch you later.